Hello everyone. So today we have our special guest with us, Mr. Ananda Sukarlan, who built the cultural bridges through piano. He is the only Indonesian listed in the book of 2000 outstanding musicians of 20th century. He has also composed a series of musical works and has won many awards for his outstanding performance. So sir, we welcome you from the whole Bloggers Alliance family and we are very happy to have you over here. Sir, you have achieved such great heights in your career. What really inspired you for this, and what made you decide to make your career in the field of music?
Yes, well, in fact, it's not that I chose music. I think it's music that has chosen me, I think, because, well, of course, I had a piano since I was very young. They said I started learning piano when I was 5. I forgot about it. But then uh, apparently I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome when I was 28. And so that explained why my interest is so focused on one thing, which is music. Well, I've been playing the piano, but I also made some improvisations, when I was still a kid and when I was teenager. And it's it's like I really love music, and I think I can't do anything else except music. So of course, my parents wanted me to do something more mainstream, like I don't know, become a doctor, medical doctor, or lawyer, or architect, and everything. But what I can, what I love to do, and what I only can do is music. So. And with the Asperger syndrome, it's really clear that I'm, let's say, how do you say, very talented in that field. And so, yeah, we just have to give up. My parents had to give up, and I chose music. I studied music. I got a scholarship from the Dutch government at the time, so I went to Holland to study at the Royal Conservatory of Music, Koninklijk Conservatorium. It's called in Dutch, in Den Haag. And then I studied there. My studies went very well, my studies, and I joined competitions. I won some competitions. I also lost some, not many, but basically from there came my career. And from being a pianist, I little by little, when I was in my 20s and 30s, I started to write music because I also studied some composition when I was at the conservatory. And yeah, I became a composer. And now, in fact, I want to become a 100% composer, a full-time composer, but I'm still performing now as a pianist. And sometimes as a conductor also. With conducting, I'm basically conducting my own music.
Great, sir. Great. And sir, you are also the first Indonesian to establish the cultural relationship between Portugal and Indonesia. So, how do you feel about that?
Oh yeah, it was in the year 2000 when the diplomatic relationship was again established between two countries, Portugal and Indonesia. At that time, I didn't know anything about cultural diplomacy. I didn't know how it works in the politics and everything. So basically, they invited me because maybe I was one of the prominent person, and I live in Europe. My career was going well, so Portugal invited me to play with the National Symphony Orchestra in Lisbon, and well, that's just happened like that. And at that time, it was the Indonesian embassy in Lisbon just opened, and so I invited my diplomatic friends in Lisbon. So in fact, it's not it's not purely a diplomatic act, but it's because it was established, it was in the news, and so the Portuguese Symphony Orchestra, the National Portuguese Symphony Orchestra, wanted to invite me because they knew that now I can go to Portugal. Because before, Indonesians couldn't go to Portugal. We need a visa, and there's no visa for Indonesians.
Oh. So it is really a great achievement, sir. And sir,
Yes, and
yeah.
sorry. I think because of that, then I started to understand and to learn about uh, the importance of culture in a diplomatic relationship, and the importance of cultural relationship between countries, because it's a way of communicating in a deeper way. Nothing to do with politics, nothing to do with economic situations and everything. Not, but then it's about emotions. So, and the arts and music is all about the deepest emotions. So we touch people's heart directly to the heart without any political agenda and everything. So there I learned the importance of arts in the relationship between countries. Yes.
Yes, sir. Deep
Yeah.
lines like touching people through emotions. It really matters. And sir, while pursuing this career, you must have faced a lot of struggles also in your life. So how did you overcome those?
Struggles, yes, of course. Well, my main struggle when I was young, of course, was about money. I didn't come from a wealthy family. In fact, my parents couldn't pay my studies at the time, but as I told you, I got a scholarship from the Dutch government. If there were no scholarship, I couldn't go abroad and study music. And here in Indonesia, at that time, it was in late 1980s, there were no faculties of music and everything to study, especially classical music. We have here for traditional music, but not classical music. And also in that era, music and arts were considered like hobbies. It's not a real profession. So, uh, well, I got a scholarship, which solves the problem of financial problems. But then my scholarship was terminated before I graduated, and because of that, I joined piano competitions. Because before I didn't think about joining piano competitions. I thought, well, just finish my studies calmly and nicely, and that's it. And because of joining competitions, not only that I won some competitions, which means I got some money from the prize money, but also career, because in the competitions we meet all the promoters, producers, and management companies for music. And so it's a blessing in disguise, because I didn't have money. Then I joined competitions. Sometimes I borrow money to go to other places to join competitions, because at that time it was the 1990s. Of course, there were no online competitions like now. You just turn on your mobile phone and then you record your playing, and you can audition or join competitions. At that time, you have to come. You really come, and you play in front of the jury and the audience. So basically, it's that. So my advice is for young musicians, not only pianists, but any other musicians and even artists, is to join competitions, because now it's much easier to join competitions, especially online. And even after that, I established my own competitions, not only for piano but also for other instruments here in Indonesia, because I know that it helps. It would help, and it has helped a lot of young musicians in Indonesia to build their career. Yeah.
Mm. Really inspiring, sir, how you kept on working and overcame the struggles and never gave up on this career. Great, sir. And sir, also apart from music, what are other areas of interest for you?
Um, Other interest. I'm very interested in the arts. Uh, I like paintings very much. I spend lots of time in the galleries and museums. I always want to paint, but I can't. Uh, and then also in literature, I read lots of books since I was young, and uh, and I also want to be a writer, like fiction writer or poems, but I also can't. I think it's because of my Asperger syndrome too. But I'm very interested, and those things, paintings and literature, they inspired me a lot. Like now, I just finished a piece, musical piece, based on paintings by Vincent van Gogh, the Dutch painter. It's going to be premiered in spring this year, 2023, in Spain and in some other countries in Europe. And in fact, it's about paintings of Vincent van Gogh about spring. So it's the blossoming orchards and gardens during spring, etc. It's because when I was a student in Den Haag, I always went to the museum, and I was really impressed by the paintings of Van Gogh. And sometimes I've been writing about paintings of Van Gogh. I mean, composing music based on that. But only just now, only last year, in fact, December, I finished the music, which is quite extensive. It's about it's like I really make a research of the paintings of Van Gogh, how he used the colors, how he used the textures and everything. And now, again, it's very easy to do that, watching paintings with Google Art Project, because you just go to Google Art Project and you can see the paintings of Van Gogh in Chicago, in Amsterdam, in England, in many places. While when I was a student, I just went to the museum. Van Gogh Museum was in Amsterdam, which is not so far from Den Haag, but it's only those paintings in Amsterdam and in Den Haag that I could see the paintings of Van Gogh. So yeah, with technology, the arts is really, I think, blossoming, and this mixture, or how do you say, marriage of different arts becomes more and more feasible. So yeah, paintings, that's my interest, and mostly literature. I have written hundreds of music based on poems by Indonesian poets, of course, Spanish poets, Federico Garcia Lorca, Miguel Cervantes, and well, Mexican, because I speak Spanish, because now I live in Spain too. So basically, Spanish, Indonesian, and American and British poets that I set their poems to music, from Shakespeare, from Walt Whitman, Emily Dickinson, etc. So I have hundreds of music with vocals based on those poems. Yes.
Oh, wow, sir, really interesting to know. And sir, also, can you tell us more about your role in G20 Orchestra and your plans to visit India?
Oh yes. Well, Indonesia held the presidency of G20 last year, 2022, and it's our legacy to create the G20 Orchestra, which consists of musicians from the 20 countries of G20, including India, of course. We had two musicians from India, Jasil Peters and Mia Maria Raju, last year. Young musicians under 30, all of them. Yeah, they all came from the 19 countries plus Indonesia. And this is the legacy and the tradition we want to make, which every time there's a meeting of G20 for the ministers of culture, we make again this orchestra. So this year, 2023, it will be in India. We still don't know where, the location, but last time we did it in September in Borobudur Temple, which is the biggest Buddhist temple in the world. So it was spectacular. We did an outside concert, open air concert with 70 musicians from around the world, from 20 countries. And then we are going to continue this by keeping collaborating with all those musicians. So sometimes we will do some chamber music concerts, like I don't know, 5 to 10 people, musicians. One come from Canada, one from India, one from Japan, and they make chamber music concerts every once in a while, every 2 months or something like that in Indonesia, to keep this connection going between them. And it proves to be very very successful, of course, but also it's it's very good for the how do you say that the communication between those musicians, because they communicate on a deeper level. As I said, music is so powerful, and sometimes, not sometimes, it's almost always, it can express things which cannot be expressed in words.
Yes.
Because music is more powerful than words. Although, the musical note is only, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, and language, we have like 20,000 words. At least in Spanish, we have more than 20,000 words. So, and musical notes has only like 7 plus 5 and everything. But somehow music can express more in detail. Like if I say that I'm sad, you don't know how sad I am.
Yes.
But if you express it in music, you know how sad I am, because the music can express it in a more accurate way. And also, that sadness is not only sad, because in language it's only the word, but in music, sadness can have
Expression.
a very wide spectrum. Yes.
Yes.
So I think it's very important, the role of music and the role of the arts to establish the relationship between countries, because then we understand more, because we understand in a deeper level.
Yes, sir. True, sir. Music is really very powerful than words. And so we are really looking forward for your performance also. So, sir, also there is an award on your name, Ananda Sukarlan Award. So can you tell us more about that?
Yes, so that was the competition which I established since 2008 here in Jakarta, in Indonesia. But now I'm working together with the Chicago International Music Festival in Chicago, in United States. So the finalists of my competition will go to Chicago. And now our competition is not only for piano, but also for all instruments. This is because also during the G20 Orchestra, we did an audition for the string instruments in Indonesia, and we managed to find the best string players from different parts of Indonesia, because we have 17,000 islands here in Indonesia, and without an audition like this, we couldn't find great talents of music. And now it's easier because everything can be done online. So our competition now, the Ananda Sukarlan Award, is also done online. But then the final, we do it live in Jakarta or in Chicago, in United States. So we hope to find the best musicians of all instruments, and also classical voice from Asia. So this is not only for Indonesian people, but from Asia. And of course, Indian musicians can join us. And we have the categories for all ages. And if somebody would like to join our competition, you can check it at anandasukarlancenter.com. anandasukarlancenter.com. You can find all the terms and conditions there, and more information. And also follow my Instagram. Sometimes they ask me through inbox and Instagram about more info and everything. So yes, my Instagram is at Ananda Sukarlan, and my Twitter also at Ananda Sukarlan.
Sure, sir. Sure. Great idea, sir. And sir, anything else you want our audience to know? Anything you want to add from your side?
Well, I think no, except that I hope India and Indonesia can have a better relationship, which is already good now, with the G20 now, with India holding the presidency of G20, and especially in classical music. I hope with my competition, some Indian musicians, some very good Indian musicians can come to Indonesia to join the finals in my competition. And of course, we meet again in the G20 Orchestra later in India. I met the Indian Minister of Culture at the time in Borobudur Temple. when we did the premiere of the G20 Orchestra, and he was very much looking forward. And he said that Indonesia has set a high standard, and I told him yes, but India will make this better and will make this orchestra a great orchestra, especially because this orchestra, the G20 Orchestra, is the most diverse orchestra in the world. There are no orchestras which has members from 20 countries.
Yes.
There are some orchestras like European Youth Orchestra and everything, but not from 20 countries. And the most important thing is not only the countries, but also the religions, the races, because even like for example from South Africa you have black and white musicians, for example, and from India, Mia Maria Raju is in fact American, but she lives in India. So this, you know,
Yes.
with music, races and religions and political orientation and everything, it all goes down into just one thing, which is love and the love of making music. So it should be very important, yes.
Yes, sir. It's very interesting to know how music builds this cultural gaps and builds the relationship among different countries. It's great. So thank you, sir. It was very inspiring to talk to you, and thank you so much for coming here today. We really look forward for your performance and for your visit in India also. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Neha, and thank you, everybody. See you.